Day 3 of the St Edmund Way begins in the Suffolk town of Sudbury and follows 12 miles of riverside and railway footpaths. After following narrow streets, the route heads out onto the meadows by the croft and joins the railway near Brundon Mill. The route then follows almost a mile of the Sudbury to Melford railway line to arrive at Liston Mill and the meadow path leading to Long Melford. Heading north out of the village past Melford Hall and through Kentwell Hall Estate, the route then crosses several large open fields to rejoin the old railway line. This is then followed for over 2 miles before heading through the churchyard and into the village centre of Lavenham with its many choices of evening meal and overnight stay. Sudbury is the third largest town along the St Edmund Way, with its bustling high street and frequent market days. With local shops, pubs, restaurants and cafes, it's the perfect place to break up the walk, with many places offering a hearty breakfast before an adventurous day ahead. Leaving the town, the route heads down to the croft and along part of the River Stour next to open grazing marsh, and the whole area is designated a nature reserve. Passing a Type 27 World War II pillbox, the path continues to Brundon Mill. The mill sits next to the River Stour and possibly dates as far back as the 15th century, but now converted into housing. Just beyond Brundon Mill, the old Sudbury to Melford railway line is joined and followed for some distance. Known locally as the Valley Walk, it forms part of the Gainsborough Trail, creating a superb circular walk around the town. After a mile or so along the railway line, you will arrive at Rodbridge, with Melford Country Park on the opposite side of the river. With numerous trails through woodland, fields and around small lakes, this country park plays host to plenty of wildlife and worthy of a short detour if time allows. Long Melford is almost reached as you pass close to the 12th century Liston Church and continue along field edges to Liston Mill and another short section of riverbank walking. A narrow alley leads you to the heart of the village of Long Melford and the halfway point on today's walk. Long Melford is a beautiful historic village with a wide street and dozens of shops, pubs and restaurants to eat at. Most of the buildings along the high street are many centuries old and listed in order to protect them, but the most famous is probably the Bull Hotel, which dates to the 15th century. Continuing north out of the village and up to the green, the St Edmund Way passes the spectacular 16th century Melford Hall, which is owned and managed by the National Trust. The grounds of the hall might not be as extensive as other National Trust properties, but this is one of the many locations that the legendary children's author, Beatrix Potter, regularly came on holiday to visit her cousins. As you reach the green, there are more historic interests to be seen, including the Trinity Hospital dating to 1573, and the spectacular 14th century Holy Trinity Church, which has to be one of the grandest parish churches in East Anglia. Behind the grand church is the beautiful Kentwell Park estate, with its half-mile-long avenue of trees leading to a grand stately home. The 16th century Kentwell Hall sits within a large moat and is of similar architecture to nearby Melford Hall. After crossing the busy A134, the trail heads out into more open countryside once again. It's simple and easy walking with hidden historic remains like this Type 22 pillbox from World War II. Just beyond the pillbox, the trail follows the longest section of railway walking along the entire route at just over 2 miles. Although intermittent at times, and to begin with, hard to make out, as you progress further towards Lavenham, the remains of the Industrial Revolution become more obvious and very enjoyable to follow. Along this railway there are many more World War II remains, including this well-preserved Type 27 pillbox, just a stone's throw from the track bed. As you enter the historic village of Lavenham, the route passes under the spectacular church of St Peter and St Paul before passing many of the local amenities to head up to the village square. Along this path is Beghaus, used as a basis for Godric's Hollow in the Harry Potter films. The ancient Guildhall overlooks the market square. Built in 1520, the 2-storey timber-framed building is now in the care of the National Trust and houses a museum detailing its rich history. With the village pubs, shops, restaurants and overnight accommodation, it's the perfect place to break up this section before the longer day ahead to Bury St Edmunds.